Global TV News Prime. Niger Delta Development Commission unveils 1.75 trillion naira 2025 budget of consolidation for region. In business, Nigeria prepares to implement new tax laws from January 1st, 2026. On the foreign scene, Turkey's president calls Israel's action on Somaliland illegal and illegitimate. And in sports, Nigeria's Kadri Aruna ends 2025 as Africa's #1 table tennis player. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. And now, the news in details. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has presented its 2025 budget estimate to the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, unveiling a 1.75 trillion naira proposal focused on consolidation, accountability, and sustainable development across the Niger Delta region. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
The House Committee hearing in Abuja, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Oboku, appeared before lawmakers to give an account of the Commission's 2024 performance and outline priorities for the coming year. Dr. Oboku described the NDDC as a critical vehicle for delivering federal government development initiatives to the Niger Delta, stressing that the 2024 budget presents a clear shift from what he called transactional spending to a transformational development model. According to the NDDC Managing Director, the 2025 budget is designed to be people-centered, participatory, and aligned with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government.
I think we will definitely deepen stakeholders' engagement in different aspects, both in the area of youth, women, and also even entrepreneurs in the region. We have carried out such engagements in the past, but for the honorable member to say we should deepen it, it is also well taken. We are going to carry out other engagements.
On budget performance, the Commission disclosed that its 2024 budget of renewed hope projected a revenue of 1.91 trillion naira, but recorded an actual inflow of 1.945 trillion naira as of October 31st, following the extension of the budget cycle to December 2025. For 2025, the proposed 1.75 trillion naira budget of consolidation represents a 9% reduction from 2024, reflecting a no-borrowing policy and tighter fiscal discipline.
As of October 31st, 2025, the Commission's actual revenue stood at 1.985 trillion, exceeding the target of 1.911 trillion for April 2024 to September 2025 by 104%.
The House Committee Chairman, Erikate Ibori Senu, and members assured the Commission of legislative support while emphasizing the need for transparency, accountability, and value for money to ensure that budgetary allocations translate into tangible benefits for the Niger Delta communities.
For our communities, this budget represents hope, opportunity, and the promise of a better quality life.
The House Committee is expected to submit the proposal to further scrutiny before approval as stakeholders look to the 2025 budget to address long-standing development gaps in the Niger Delta. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
And now to Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodinma has signed into law the 2026 appropriation bill estimated at about 1.4 trillion naira, describing it as a product of strong collaboration between the executive and the legislature. The signing ceremony was held at the new government annex, Olu. Amarachi Ibe reports completes the story.
Governor Uzodinma accessed to the bill days after its passage by the Imo State House of Assembly, completing the constitutional process of checks and balance. Governor Uzodinma says the transition of the budget from estimates to law reflects democratic strength and commended the lawmakers for their diligence. He described the budget of economic breakthrough as ambitious, noting government's commitment to revenue generation, completion of ongoing projects, and sustained infrastructure development across the state.
So as a government, we work to generate the revenue and not spend the revenue. And you can see how ambitious this year's budget is, a signal that we must fasten our seatbelts to look for the money so we can spend the money for the people. So all the projects that are ongoing, critical projects in Imo State, we have no plan to leave anyone uncompleted before the end of our tenure.
Governor adds that the budget will boost small and medium-scale enterprises, attract investments, and strengthen revenue-generating agency. He thanked the president for providing the funds for states.
So these are the kind of things I want us to take note. And this budget is very comprehensive and detailed. This budget has taken care of, if well implemented, both the small and medium enterprises, local and foreign investors, and all the revenue generating agencies will have an environment to operate. This is the whole idea why it is called Budget of Economic Breakthrough. By the end of
the signing of the 2026 budget set the stage for a new fiscal year, with the state government expressing confidence that it will deliver measurable benefits to Imo residents. From the Government House Annex Olu, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Back here in Abuja, Nigeria's armed forces have intensified efforts to address evolving security threats across the country, as troops continue to record major operational gains against terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping, oil theft, and other criminal activities. This was stated by Director Defense Media Operations Major General Michael Onoja during a high-level defense briefing in Abuja. Defense correspondent Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The military authorities reviewed the current threat environment, interagency collaboration, the resilience and professionalism of troops confronting complex and asymmetric security challenges nationwide in the year 2025. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, the review is aimed at strengthening strategic decision-making, improving operational effectiveness, and setting clear security priorities for the coming year. The military emphasized that its core mandate remains the protection of citizens and personnel, while also keeping the public informed about the ongoing operations and achievements across the theaters. Within the period under review, troops, in collaboration with other security stakeholders, neutralized several top terrorist commanders, their lieutenants, and foot soldiers. In addition, 4,375 suspected criminals were arrested, while 1,616 terrorists surrendered along with their families. The military also confirmed the successful rescue of 2,336 kidnapped victims across different operational zones.
Now, we also arrested 1,323 suspects alongside their collaborators, gun runners, sympathizers, and 1,616 terrorists surrendered to troops in the Operation Hadinkai area, while 498 kidnapped hostages were rescued. Troops also recovered various arms, ammunition, vehicles, equipment, and a cumulative sum of 32 million naira in cash.
in the Niger Delta region. The director reveals that troops under Operation Delta Save intensify action against oil theft and pipeline vandalism, significantly disrupting illegal activities and contributing to efforts aimed at boosting Nigerian crude oil production and safeguarding national assets. The briefing also provided an operational update on the 6th Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force in the Northeast, Operation Adinkai, covering Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State, continued to maintain relative stability in the region. The military, however, acknowledged that the remnants of Boko Haram and the Islamic State West African province still pose threats through isolated attacks, use of improvised explosive devices, and remote operations targeting civilians and security forces.
Neutralized several criminal elements, arrested 778 criminals and their cohorts, and rescued 53 kidnapped victims. They also foiled oil thefts valued at 8,918,647,206 naira, representing 16,623,542 liters of crude oil.
Despite recorded successes, including arrests, rescues, and neutralization of armed groups, security challenges persist, underscoring the need for sustained military pressure, improved intelligence, and stronger civil-military cooperation. As the year 2025 draws to a close, the Armed Forces says operation will continue with renewed focus on protecting lives, securing communities, as well as strengthening national stability. From Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
National Association of Nigerian Students has demanded the immediate sack of the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, over what it described as gross incompetence, poor performance, and total failure, especially in design, execution, and public enlightenment about the tax reform law, scheduled to take effect from January 1st, 2026. This comes as the Student Union has announced January 14, 2026, as a National Day of Action against the controversial law, which plans to on the way to mobilize students nationwide for a protest to the presidential Villa Gate the same day. This announcement came a few hours after President Bola Tinubu insisted that there was no going back on the January 1st, 2026 tax law commencement. The federal government says its economic reforms will not be considered successful until they produce measurable improvements in the living conditions of Nigerians. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu, made the declaration in Abuja during the ministry's top management meeting. Bagudu insisted that national development must translate into real gains for citizens across all levels of governance. And now talking party politics, Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, has officially joined the coalition-backed African Democratic Congress. Announcing his defection in Enugu State, the former governor of Anambra stated that his defection ahead of the 2027 election is aimed at transforming and rescuing Nigeria. Adamawa State government have cancelled all activities scheduled for the 2025 crossover night celebration at the Unity flyover in Jemaita, Yola, citing security concerns. The cancellation affects events planned for the night of December 31st, 2021 through the early hours of January 1st, 2026. The state government noted that the decision followed credible intelligence reports indicating potential security risks around the venue. In the meantime, Lagos State has announced the cancellation of the Greater Lagos Fiesta 2025, which was scheduled to hold on December 31st, 2025. The announcement was conveyed in a statement issued by the governor's special advisor on media and publicity, Boyega Akosile, following the approval of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The statement says Governor Sanwo-Olu directed that in place of the annual Greater Lagos Fiesta, also known as the Countdown to 2026, residents of the state should spend quality time in personal prayers for the nation, the state, and the people of Lagos. The new year is just hours away, and across Nigeria, the atmosphere is filled with excitement, hope, and renewed expectation. As 2026 approaches, many Nigerians are looking forward to celebrating the moment in different ways, despite prevailing economic and social challenges. Global Television's correspondent, Ubong Usoro, has details.
From religious gathering and family reunions to quiet reflections and community celebrations, Nigerians say the new year represents a fresh start and an opportunity to embrace better possibilities. For many Nigerians, the countdown to the new year is more than a celebration. It is a moment of gratitude and hope. Some residents say they plan to usher in 2026 in churches and mosques, thanking God for the gift of life and praying for a better year ahead.
I plan to spend this new year very fantastic heal with good health, because without health we cannot spend the new year.
I'll spend it normally. Even today is my birthday, so me and my brother will soon go for photo show.
Others say they will celebrate with families and friends at home, sharing meals, exchanging goodwill messages, and reflecting on the lessons of the outgoing year.
As always with family. Well, the year is always very busy.
However, some Nigerians admit that the economic realities will influence how they celebrate, opting for modest gatherings while still remaining hopeful that the new year will offer improved living conditions and opportunities. Despite individual differences in celebration plans, a common message cuts across the voices of the streets: hope for peace, progress, and prosperity in the coming year. As the nation counts down to 2026, Nigerians remain optimistic, believing that the new year will open doors to better days ahead. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Insecurity across Nigeria is increasingly putting the education sector under pressure, with boarding schools outside major cities becoming a growing concern for parents. From kidnapping to attacks on schools in rural communities, many families are now questioning whether it is still safe to keep their children in boarding schools located far from urban centers. Kabir Hassan spoke with parents to get their opinion.
Education remains a cornerstone of national development, but insecurity is gradually eroding parent confidence, especially when it comes to boarding schools located outside city centers. Across Nigeria, many boarding schools are situated in remote areas, often chosen for their quiet learning environment. However, ongoing security challenges have turned these once attractive locations into sources of fear for parents. On the streets of Abuja, parents shared mixed feelings torn between the desire to give their children quality education and the growing concern for their safety.
What government should do is to make sure that all the schools, especially these colleges that are under federal government and other private schools outside the city, to make sure that they deploy security agencies, something like police, armies, and other security agencies.
If you don't have good management who protect the school, who have good securities around that environment, there will also be problem of insecurity.
Some parents say the situation has forced them to constantly live in fear, while others admit they have considered withdrawing their children or relocating them to day schools within the city. They argue that while education is important, safety must come first, especially in a country grappling with persistent security threats.
Parents should allow their children to stay at home for now, because their safety is more important than education.
The best thing the federal government should do is to make sure that the police, the army, and other security agencies are being deployed to various schools across the country.
The security must be technologically oriented, not just technology doesn't compromise. You hear of security operatives depart from a checking point, then there's an attack. But with the technology, it should not compromise.
Many warn that continued insecurity could discourage enrollment in boarding schools and further strain Nigeria's education system. Parents are calling on government at all levels to strengthen security around schools, particularly those in rural and semi-urban areas, to restore confidence and protect the future of Nigerian children. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, more stories will come your way. Details coming shortly after this break. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where as Nigeria prepares to implement new tax laws from January 1st, 2026, concerns and expectations are growing among citizens. From traders to professionals, many are trying to understand how the new tax law will affect their incomes and daily lives. Global Television's Priscilla Obasi reports.
As conversations around the 2026 tax laws begin to surface, the question is not just about what the policy says, but who actually understands it. So, we stepped out to ask everyday Nigerians one simple question. Have you heard about the 2026 tax law, and what comes to your mind when you do?
When I heard about the new tax law, I felt that it could be another means of generating more revenue for the nation. But on the other hand, based on the the narratives out there, it's as if another way again to exploit the citizens.
Me, I felt we've already started paying a lot of tax already because of the VAT and everything they take from, you go to the supermarket to buy something, anything you buy, they remove money, you recharge, they remove, you pay into somebody's account, they remove. Somebody pay into your account, they remove, and the rest. I think that one is already enough tax. I think so.
While some residents expressed concerns about increased financial pressure amidst economic hardship, others said effective taxation could improve governance if managed transparently.
It's not bad, because if you are in level 1, you will still struggle to go to upper level.
To provide clarity on the policy, a tax expert who appeared on Global Morning explained that the new law is designed to simplify the tax system and improve accountability, but warned that public awareness and fairness will be key to its success.
A lot of people get this confused, right? It's not your whole salary that will be taxed. You will still get some statutory deductions that are allowable, for ascertaining your taxable income. Those will still be allowable even in the new regime. And then the tax table has also been revised from what it used to be.
As the policy draws close to implementation, the conversation continues around communication, trust, and implementation. For now, the conversation continues. I am Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News.
In Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called Israel's recognition of Somaliland illegitimate and unacceptable as he hosted a visit by his Somali counterpart. At a joint press conference following bilateral talks, both Erdogan and Somali's President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud condemned the recognition of Somaliland as an independent state by Israel, with Turkey pledging to stand by the Somali people. Over to Uyi Agmofuegmi for details.
Israel sparked criticism last Friday when it said it was officially recognizing Somaliland, a breakaway territory in Somalia's north. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar defended the decision to recognize Somaliland. The declaration was a first for the territory, which in 1991 had unilaterally declared secession from Somalia.
Strongly rejected Prime Minister Netanyahu's illegal aggression in recognizing part of Somalia's northern regions as an independent state. This aggression and the blatant meddling
constitute a clear violation of the international law, the Charter of the United Nations, the Constitutive Act of the African Union, and all established diplomatic norms.
Turkey, a close ally of Somalia, has frequently clashed with Israel over a range of issues, especially the conflict in Gaza and Israeli obstruction of aid to the Palestinian territory. He called Netanyahu's Somaliland declarations violation of international law and the start of insecurity and instability, especially for Somalia and the African region. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Exciting world of sport, where Nigeria's Aruna Kadri has finished 2025 as Africa's top-ranked table tennis player in the final yearly ranking released on Tuesday by the International Table Tennis Federation. Kadri, who has held the continental #1 position for most of the year, closed the season ranked 28 in the world with 1,065 points, making him the only African player to the 1,000-point mark on the men's ranking. Egypt Omar Assar is next best on the continent, sitting 32nd globally with 965 points in the ranking published as 2026 Week 1. Now, as Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has presented its 2025 budget estimate to the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, unveiling a 1.75 trillion naira proposal focused on consolidation, accountability, and sustainable development across the Niger Delta region. In business, as Nigeria prepares to implement the new tax laws from January 1st, 2026, concerns and expectations are growing among citizens. On the foreign scene, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called Israel's recognition of Somaliland illegitimate and unacceptable as he hosted a visit by his Somali counterpart. And in sport, you heard that Nigeria's Aruna Kadri has finished 2025 as Africa's top-ranked table tennis player in the yearly final ranking released by the International Table Tennis Federation. That's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.